This video tutorial. In this video, we will be learning about these various user interface of this Unity framework. So, in this video, I've created a new project of type 2D core, and this is the default screen of the project. You can see various tabs here like hierarchy tab, scene tab, inspector, project consoles. I've already explained you about these tabs in my previous video. If you have not watched that video, you can find the link below. Let's once again try to understand them. Let's first talk about this hierarchy tab. This hierarchy tab is actually display the hierarchy of scene and the game objects the scene contains. So by default our scene name is sample scene, and it has only one game object, and the game object name is main camera. So what happens if I select this main camera game object here? If I select here, you can see right side the inspector tab displays the components that this main camera object has. So our main camera object has three components: the transform component, the camera component. You can see the components property by open this component tab. You can see these are the properties of this transform component, the camera component, and these are the properties. You can change the property from here. And the audio listener component. So you can remove any of that component from here. You can see the option here. Transform component you cannot remove, but the other component you can see the option remove component. By clicking on this, you can remove the component. And if you want to add another component to this object, by this button, add component, you can add the another component to this object. Okay, so let's change the name of our scene, game scene. So we go to project tab, and we can see here our assets folder contain another folder called scenes. So let's double click on scenes, and we find the file, scene file. So let's rename it. Let's give it a new name, game scene. Yes, so now you can see our game scene, this project scene name is changed to game scene. So now in Unity, whatever we do, we need objects for that. That means we basically work on objects in Unity. So if we want to display an image on our scene, then we need object which will display an image. For example, if we want to display an image of watermelon on our scene, so for that purpose we need a separate object for that. So let's create another object by right click here on this hierarchy tab. You can see the another option, create empty. Let's click on it, and you'll see this another object is created, and by default it is empty game object, so it has only one component, transform component, and these are the properties of transform component. This transform component is actually is associated with the position of the object. So in previous video I also had told you that we can interact through this scene tab. We can also interact with the game objects. So here I've selected this game object, and if I move this object horizontally, you can see the position in transform component. You can see the position of X is changed. If I move to right this object, you can see now the X position is positive. Similarly, we can change the object Y position like that. So here we can, through these components, we can change the properties of that component. Let's rename this object. Just give it a name, watermelon. Okay. So through this game object, we want to display an image in our game scene. So to display image, we need another component. We will add another component to this object. The component name is sprite render. So this is I've added the another component sprite render to this watermelon object, and sprite is actually an image. So now we go to this our project tab, asset folder. Inside asset folder, we create another folder, and let's give it a name sprite. Let's double click it. Now just drag a PNG type, this watermelon image, inside this sprite folder. Okay. Now go to this hierarchy tab and select this watermelon object, and go to the inspector tab, because we want to change the property of this sprite render component. We want to add sprite over here. So just drag this watermelon sprite right over this here. So you can see the watermelon is display on our scene. Let's go to our game tab, and we can see this is the output of our project. Let's execute this whatever the we have not write any code, but still we can execute things. So this is the output. Let's stop it. So here you can see I hope that you understand about these various tabs, how to use them. The hierarchy tab, we actually display the scenes and game objects, and We can select any individual game object. We can check the components of that object. We can add component to it. We can also remove the component. We can change the properties of the components. Like here we have changed the sprite property. We dragged this sprite to here, and we can also change the position. If we want to change the watermelon position, we can directly if I give it -4 values, so the position is changed. You can see the position is changed. So in hierarchy tab, we see game scenes, and game scene may contain multiple game objects, and we can select any of game object. We can also check their components, and through the scene tab actually visualize the objects that our scene has. So we can see this is the camera, and this is the watermelon object. We can see we can also interact through with this scene tab. We can also, if we want, we can rotate the object, and if we want, we can change the object size. So these are the tools in the scene tab, and this is the output tab, and this is a file manager type tab to access the files of your project. So I hope you understand all these user interface here. Thanks for, we will be explaining more in details in next video. Thanks for watching.